Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing another JMT video, surprise, surprise. This time I wanted to talk about some of the items that I figured were absolutely essential for a JMT trip. Again, obviously this list is subjective based on my experience in the beginning of August and our weather conditions and just the way that I experience these trips. But if they can help anybody out there, I know one of my favorite things to do when I was prepping for the JMT was browsing through various videos, finding the common items across the board for what people brought, and then finding some hidden gems as well that I hadn't heard of before. And I think that's the beauty of where these videos lie, is sharing this information so everybody can use it. And with that, I will just get into the items. So first and foremost, the most important thing for me on this trip was sun protection, as it should be for any trip. Essentials were a sun hoodie, SPF chapstick, and sun gloves. Okay, so first the sun hoodie. I had never heard of these before this year. I've never seen anybody wear a sun hoodie before. Everybody on the JMT had a sun hoodie, including myself. You can get them fairly inexpensive from Amazon, I think between $20 and $30. I got a Patagonia one that was actually for fly fishing, and in retrospect I would get a more inexpensive one because I put that thing through hell. It's still probably good enough to wear for another year, but it is so stained. I washed it 8 times when I got home. It's nasty. So I would err on the side of spending a little bit less for something like that, but it's absolutely a crucial item. It's way cooler than having your skin exposed. I know it's sort of counterintuitive. You would think that the less clothing the better, but the less the sun can hit, the better, especially if it's a light color and it reflects the sun and doesn't absorb it. It was amazing. Get a sun hoodie if you don't have one, or at least try it out, see how you like it. Second was SPF chapstick, which I don't usually use chapstick on the trail. It's just so annoying. I lick it all off. It tastes disgusting, and I feel like it interferes with, I like to get a baseline on my hydration by my lips, and this applies in life too. I try not to use chapstick, so if my lips are dry, I know it's a sign that I need to hydrate more, right? If you're mucking around and putting chapstick on every time they get dry, you're not addressing the problem. That being said, I did bring some with me, and by day 4, my lips had the crap burnt out of them, and I used the chapstick for the rest of the trip. I know people have their various brands that they like. I just used like a regular Nivea, I don't even know. It was a Nivea one, it was orange, it was at the pharmacy for a few bucks. Just make sure you don't put it in a pocket that's directly in the sun on whatever you're wearing or in your pack, because they will melt. Mine melted, and then it's just sloppy and not fun to deal with. And then the last part of the sun protection system is gloves. These are not sun gloves. I recommend getting sun gloves. I went back and forth, until the last couple of days before the trip on getting gloves at all. You're out there for that long. The one piece of your body that no matter what is going to be exposed without exception is going to be your hands. And I know from previous experience on trails, they get torched pretty fast. They don't usually get burnt, but they get dark really, really, really quickly. So I decided to grab a pair of just liners, glove liners. They were 20 bucks. I figured they would be good on the passes, on Whitney, if I needed them at night when it was cold, and then could also be used as sun gloves. I used them every single day. It was more comfortable to wear these, even though they weren't the coolest, than to not wear gloves at all in the sun. And actually the worst sunburn I got was right here on my wrist, which was where the sun hoodie ends and before the gloves start. So if that was an indication of how bad the burn would have been, I'm super happy that I brought these. So I strongly recommend investing in a pair of actual sun gloves, which have the fingers taken off. I don't know. Or you can get one of these. These were great. I would use them again. Regular pair of liners. Fantastic. The next essential item, I would say, is to bring poles, hiking poles. Yeah, I know people have preferences on this. We saw a lot of people that didn't bring them. We saw even more, obviously, that did have them. They are worth their weight in gold for going up ascents, even more so for descents, even more so no matter what the terrain, after a 14-hour day, I would just like ogre my way down the path by putting all of my weight on this. And yeah, it's like having extra legs and arms, and I can't say enough good things about them. The next item, absolutely essential, is duct tape. Duct tape, preferably not like this. This irked me the most when I was preparing for this trip because this is not space friendly. It's hard to pack around this, and it's hard to pack duct tape in a way that you get as much as you need. I know you can get the emergency first aid kits that have like the very, very small roll of them. In my experience, I will go through that in like a day and then have nothing left. This is life-changing. This is the biggest backpacking hack. I don't know why I've never seen it before, but oh my gosh, you can wrap duct tape around this, and then obviously you just pull it off as you need it. This was like this thick. We used almost all of it. I think it's wrapped 3 times, and that's what's left because you will need duct tape, and there's nothing worse than needing it and not having enough and not having anyone nearby to get duct tape from. We've had a few times where our tent has, catastrophic failure, and without duct tape, you basically don't have a shelter. So it doesn't take up any extra space or weight as long as you are bringing poles. And if you're not bringing poles, maybe you should start bringing them so that you can wrap duct tape around them. I highly recommend it. Maybe don't get cork ones. I've had marmots chew through these. That's just the price of playing the game at this point. The next absolutely essential item, and this is going to be essential no matter what trip you're on, is a good sleeping pad. But this one I got specifically for the JMT for cold sleepers. So I have numerous other sleeping pads, none of them with an R value this high. This is the Nemo Tensor Alpine. I think it has an R value of 4.8. I'm not sure how that compares to the Thermarest. I know Thermarest is the granddaddy of sleeping pads with high R values, whatever. I've had a Thermarest in the past. It sprung a leak. That leak could not be detected, so it could not be fixed. So it is sitting in the closet unused after being used for one trip and popping. So didn't want to have to deal with that, so went the route of the Nemo Alpine. If you are a cold sleeper, I highly recommend looking into this. I don't weigh much, I don't have much meat on my bones. I sleep very cold at night. This combined with my sleeping bag, I just had a 20-degree sleeping bag, was all that I needed, essentially, except for another essential item, which is boots, down booties. I've never heard of anybody using them before this trip, but a lot of people recommended them if you're a cold sleeper. Simple down booties. These were $20 on Amazon. They did take a while to get here. I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks. I think they came from China. But they were amazing. So I didn't need to wear a puffy for a single night when we were out there. I didn't need a toque. I didn't need gloves. These were enough. Some nights I was too hot and then I would just take these off. But honestly, for the size that they are, which is like almost nothing, I just kept it in my sleeping bag stuff sack. And they obviously weigh nothing because they're down. Amazing. If you are a cold sleeper, try them. You will love them. The next thing that is absolutely essential was a good pair of gaiters for your feet. So on other trips, I've used the full-on like knee gaiters. So this was the first trip that we got smaller gaiters for. It's also the first trip that we used trail runners for. If you have boots, you know, that negates the purpose of these because it basically covers the same space. But if you're using trail runners, this is amazing. It hooks into the front of your shoe as well as the back. If you're using something like Ultras, they have a little, hook here you can hook it into, and then the Velcro in the back to stick it onto. And they're amazing. They will just keep out pebbles. Sand and dirt, not so much, but that's not really the big enemy here. It's mostly just the pebbles and loose gravel and the things that can aggravate your feet and cause blisters. So if you're you have really sweaty feet, if you're doing river crossings in your shoes, the last thing you want is pebbles and stones aggravating your feet and giving you a blister. You need to take care of your feet. So these are just Dirty Girl gaiters. I think in Canadian they came to about $40. I know if you're American, I think they're only like $20 US. Multiple fun patterns. I am not that exciting. I got black ones. This is more or less female specific only, probably, because I don't think you want to wipe your tushy with it, was a pee rag. So I know some people use bandanas, some people use one of these. It just clips onto your backpack. Instead of using toilet paper to wipe, you just use a pee rag, put it on your bag, wash it at the end of the day. Kind of enough said about that. It's much easier, much more environmentally friendly than packing out all of the toilet paper. Let me tell you, 17 days of toilet paper will add up very quickly. A few days of toilet paper will add up really quickly. So if you can save on wipes or toilet paper wherever you can, sustainable option. I just got mine on Amazon. I don't even know what the brand is because it's like a one-off. Circle Care. I know people also use Coola cloths. That's not available in Canada, so I couldn't get it, but look into that. I will say I did not use a bidet, so I will not be talking about a bidet. Another thing that was absolutely essential was an external battery. Some people prefer their solar chargers, some people like these chargers. I don't want to rely on the sun to be able to charge my devices if I'm relying on my phone for my gut hooks app. I know bring a paper map as well so you don't have to rely on your phone for gut hooks, which I did as well. But this was just nice to have peace of mind. I charged my GoPro twice with this, my phone about 4 times, and it didn't even go through the entire battery. But absolutely worth its weight in gold if you want to be able to use your electronics. It obviously is a little bit heavier, but if you are packing relatively light, I was more on the ultralight side for this trip, I could afford to bring the weight. I don't care about it so much. This was more valuable than saving a little bit of weight for me. I think the last thing that was absolutely essential, which I don't have an example of here, was the kind of snacks you were going to bring. I highly recommend packing something that you really, really like and then only having that item when you really, really need it. So in my case, that was Mars bars. I don't think those are available in the States, but whatever your like candy bar of choice, snack, whatever, have something that you only eat when you really, really need it. So I would have a Mars bar when I got to the top of every pass. And let me tell you, I looked forward to that chocolate bar all morning. It was a nice change from, having like your 8th power bar or pro bar of the week, or having a Cliff bar or a trail mix or a Fig Newton, or just like, the same thing you would have all the time. And it helped me get motivated to get to the top. I knew I had something fun waiting for me that was just different than the other snacks that I would get. Also things like Skittles. We brought Skittles, and that was kind of our like final countdown, push to the top snack. We would like hand around a handful of Skittles, and it just boosts morale, gets enthusiasm up. You get that rush of sugar, which for me seemed more beneficial than even caffeine. Was getting short bursts of sugar. You're going to crash anyways at some point. The sugar crash is going to come, but you know what? You're going to have to walk through it, so it doesn't matter. So just eat the sugar. And yeah, that was more for motivation and morale and just having a reason to get to another checkpoint because you'd have a reward, and what is better than that? So those are pretty much my top items. Again, this isn't a list of more traditional backpacking essentials. Those can be found everywhere on the internet in other videos. I may do another video talking about what I brought on this trip. But again, this is the essentials that I thought, on top of the bare minimum foundational items, were really, really important to me for this trip. I would love to hear what any of you guys bring, if there's anything different out there, any tips you've learned. If there's anything as good as this duct tape trip, I want to know about it. I need to know about it. This is life-changing. Yeah. If you have any gear that you want to share that changed your life, I would love to know about it. I am planning on doing the Tahoe Rim Trail next year, so if you've done that, I would like to hear the gear that you brought for that, any items that were specifically beneficial. And until next time, that is it. Thanks for watching.